Hello and welcome to the Blue Podcast Network. This is the Gold Show. This is episode number 4. And with me, we have got Jamie and Henry to talk through what happened last weekend in the Premier League. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic, mate.
Can imagine you're feeling good.
Yeah.
We're
How
gonna,
are you feeling?
Well, I mean, after last
Smell of
night's Champions
victory.
League win, I'm pretty good. So we're as you know, we record this every Wednesday. So last night we ended up beating Milan, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about other things like Liverpool losing to Nottingham Forest. But let's get started with the biggest game of the weekend, which was Tottenham versus Arsenal, the North London derby. And Arsenal have picked up 10 points from 12, despite having to go away to Aston Villa and away to Tottenham. I mean, what a
It's
start.
not
for them.
bad. That's not bad at all.
What a start.
As an Arsenal fan, to be fair, I'm not in an Arsenal shirt because I forgot to bring it.
Yeah.
But I had to. I literally had to grab a red shirt and be like, let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with continuing unbeaten with questionable red card at Brighton, to say the least. Well, at home to Brighton,
Yeah.
and then going away to Tottenham, especially after an international break. You're thinking no Calafiori, no Rice, no Odegaard, but didn't need them really. Timber was incredible at left back.
Yep.
Gabriel solid, Saliba solid, Ben White solid. I think man of the match was probably Havertz.
He was very
as
good.
much as he did in midfield.
Yeah, I mean,
What was it playing in midfield, yeah?
Playing in midfield. The last time he
Playing
did was
in midfield.
Aston Villa game.
attacking
But,
midfield.
don't even
So,
try it, 'cause he
attacking
said he's not a
midfield,
striker.
attacking
Yeah,
midfield.
Exactly. Don't even try it.
Not a striker, and then he drops a man of the match performance playing in central midfield.
Well, I
what
mean,
can I
he's
say?
dropped a
For
man of the match
me-
performance playing as a striker as well. So what are you on about? He did it against Chelsea. Scored
you
two.
could argue who was man of the match. I want to
Yeah.
talk about David Raya as a goalkeeper.
Mhm.
I think he's the second best in the league. I think he's an exceptional keeper.
Who's he?
Who's ahead of him?
Alisson.
I think he's ahead. I think he's ahead this season. So far, he's ahead.
I'm not so convinced yet. I need a bit more convincing. He's put in some really good performances so far this season, and I can rate that. But I'm not ready to put him above Addison.
Well,
yet.
no, I
think
mean,
off last season.
I
this season,
remember
he's been a better
last
keeper.
season when we were talking on the Red Show, and it was, well, the old Red Show as it is now, and it was Ramsdale or Raya debates,
Oh.
and it was who's the better goalkeeper, Aaron
and I
Ramsdale
still
or
think
David
Ramsdale is
Raya.
a better goalkeeper personally,
Yeah.
but
I think Raya.
I still feel, yeah, you
I
know.
think Raya's the best keeper in the league. I don't think there's really, at the moment, any question about it.
I think in terms of sort of, if you're looking at consistency over year upon year at the highest level, we need to see Raya do that in the Champions League before I put him ahead of Alisson, because I still think Alisson, in terms of an all-around goalkeeper, I still think he is one of the best.
Yeah, I think I just in the Premier League, I think based
Well,
on
yeah.
last season, this season.
Well,
there's
so
not
well,
gonna be any-
yeah. No, I
The-
would agree with that in all
some of the
honesty.
saves he's been pulling off.
Well, that
that-
one against Aston Villa was ridiculous. Yeah, when
that-
he's on the floor and he
that
gets
save
up.
against Villa, but also it's the fact that the saves he brings so much confidence to the rest of the team.
Yeah.
Even against Spurs on the weekend, there was a couple of chances that Tottenham had realistically should have been scoring. But if it wasn't for him, his distribution is good as well. He's happy to get.
Oh,
the team
it's
up the
brilliant.
pitch quickly.
Distribution's really, really
It's
good.
ridiculous.
I think as well, and as you said, Tottenham had a few chances, especially in the opening 10, 15
Yeah.
minutes. That was probably where Tottenham played their best football all game. Apart from it, since the 15th minute, it sort of died down for them. They were still having a fair bit of the ball, but did they really create anything? This is where I worry about Tottenham at the moment. I thought they were going to have a decent campaign where at the start of the season, I personally put them, I think it was the same position they finished last season, 5th, because I still think they've got a decent team there, bringing in Dominic Solanke.
60
But
mil, though.
but yeah, I think it is a lot of money. I think he will be a decent player, but I look at their team and I just think at the moment, where are the goals coming from? I know they scored 4 against Everton one weekend, but
That's Everton, though.
but since then they've scored 2 goals in the other 3 matches. If Son's not firing, where are the goals coming from? Because Brennan Johnson on the right wing, he's not going to get you goals. He's more of a creative outlet if he wants to. I think he got double digits in assists last season in the league for Tottenham.
He had an awful game.
I
against
just-
Arsenal.
I just-
He easily closed down.
Well, this is the thing. I worry where they are going to find goals, because defensively we know they're not the best. We know that the way that they play, they have their fullbacks inverted, and so they're high up the pitch. But I just sort of do worry this season when it comes to who's going to get the goals, because James Maddison's numbers have dropped off as well. He started like a house on fire last season. He was exceptional, but then since sort of that injury he had when he came back, it's not been the same. And you could say that for a lot of the Tottenham players in the squad who have had injuries and then come back. They're not as beneficial going forward.
They need some goals from midfield. I don't know where that comes from. I mean, again, as an FM player, Sarr becomes a very good central midfielder on attack, so he gets got goals.
They
do
somebody
miss
who links
something.
between the midfield and the attack.
Yeah,
And
someone who
that's
make
the
those
thing.
late runs into the box.
When they had someone like Ericsson, the passing that he's got in his locker that opens up attackers. The issue I find with Tottenham is that their attackers are always a few yards ahead of everyone else. So when the ball's played over the top, they're either offside, or let's say the ball's played over the top. Let's say Son can bring it down. There's nobody around him, and you can't just rely on one player.
No.
It's pretty much when they had Kane. At least Kane would be able to kind of take everything away from Son. The issue is now with Solanke, as good as a player he is, I don't think he just understands the timing of the run. Because I think consistently we find that against that Arsenal game, he was either offside or dropping in so deep that whenever the ball came into the box, he was nowhere to be seen. And we know that Arsenal's probably got the best centre-backs in the Premier League. They'll deal with any crosses
Of course they
easily.
will. Of course they will.
So it was pretty pointless, just crossing in balls for no reason. I think Brennan Johnson had a poor game.
Yes. Yeah.
I think he
100%.
got easily closed out. I want to say by Timber.
Yeah.
But I think for as bad Tottenham were, you can't
Arsenal.
discredit Arsenal.
Well-
I think Arsenal's defending the way they were set up was to let Tottenham attack them, because they haven't got Rice.
No.
Just to let them attack and counter-attack, and I think that's what worked.
Yeah, no, I think it was a really, really good performance from Arsenal. I mean, defensively, we all know they're ridiculous. The back four is an absolute joke. As you said, Timber came from a year injury out, and it looked like he hadn't missed a minute.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I
he
miss
comes
him at
back and he
Ajax.
looked really, really solid. I just think as well, the difference between Arteta and Postecoglou, I saw a lot in the first half of Arteta's, Arsenal was still trying to play out from the back with Jorginho and Partey. And I said to my flatmate before the game, he's an Arsenal fan as well, and I was saying to him, I do worry about that double pivot if you're going to try and play out from the back. And there was a lot of times in that first half where Arsenal did needlessly lose the ball, and Tottenham just didn't seem to capitalise. I think there was one point where Dominic Solanke could have had a shot, but he took an extra touch.
They
but
push
then
it out wide a lot and then don't do anything.
But then in the second half, you could see straight away Arteta adapted that and said, we'll just go long up the pitch, we'll do more long balls, and that suited Arsenal, and Postecoglou just didn't change anything. I mean, they have a sort of obsession, Tottenham, with low crosses towards the 6-yard box. They absolutely love to do that, and that's where Dominic Solanke got most of his goals for Bournemouth last season, so that's why they've gone ahead and bought him in the first place.
It does make sense, but again, Solanke has never proven himself a consistent goal scorer.
No, apart from last season. Yeah.
He's had one season, and I feel like it could have been good to let him have a little bit more time to see if he's going to be good or not.
Yeah.
They're definitely better players they could have gone for.
100%. For a lot less.
More
I
proven.
don't think he's worth the money they paid for him. I don't think we're there yet.
No.
I think you could have gone out and got a Tony for 40 million who would have been just as good, maybe a little bit more prem proven, did it for longer. Or you could have gone abroad and looked for somebody consistent there, like a Gianluca Scamacca or something like that. Like Berkeres, Gyökeres would have been if you could have afforded him. But
I think as well, the other thing we can't really not pick up on is Arsenal and set pieces.
Oh, brilliant.
Set pieces from Arsenal.
Amazing.
You know they're going to at least have a shot on target, or it's ridiculous.
Gabriel is probably the best player from corners in terms of players in the box in the Premier League. He scores the most goals.
He's the highest ever scoring defender in the Premier League. Highest ever scoring centre-back, I want to say.
What, it is in the time frame that he's been in the league. Yeah,
Since he's been here.
Most definitely.
I think he's also pushing on to actually outside of just when he's been here. I think just in general.
For centre halves.
Yeah,
because he scored a massive amount last season, didn't he? And then the year before that, he got a few.
He got, I want to say 3 in his first season, 4 last season. I think he scored 1 this season already. I think
he's a threat. He's a massive threat.
No, 100%.
Huge
I think
threat.
last season he went a little bit underrated with.
He is underrated
Yeah.
because a lot of
People look at Saliba.
Saliba
only,
all the time. Saliba.
Yeah.
Saliba. It's
but what
all about
Gabriel
Saliba.
does is pivotal in
Yeah,
the Arsenal team.
100%.
Gabriel is that player who, I kind of say that if one goes, one stays.
Yeah.
And Saliba's always the covering defender, whereas Gabriel's always the one who will go out. And a lot of the time, the issue you'll get is Gabriel might go out, miss the ball, Saliba has to recover.
Yeah.
So Saliba gets praise. But when you look at what Gabriel does for a team, for the backline and going forward,
Yeah.
him bringing the ball out of defence, him attacking set pieces is incredible.
No, it is. It's really, really good.
I
And
think Man City's going to be a very good game.
Yeah.
yes.
That Arsenal
I
City
mean,
game is going to be
I
impressive.
do hope that it's not going to be as boring as what the last two were last season, because from a neutral point of view, I wanted to
Yeah.
fall asleep.
We
I
got-
can't lie.
I think we got
It
an
was pretty
84
dull.
84th minute Martinelli deflected goal.
Yeah, and then the other game was
the
0-0.
worst 0-0 I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, because there's a lot of 0-0s that are like
Where they were
really
just-
entertaining. You know, people hit the crossbars a couple
This
times.
was just 90% of the ball was in the midfield.
Yeah.
That's literally it. It was just passing between.
It was just like such a tactical battle where both
Yeah.
managers were almost at a point where they were like,
They were too scared
well,
to lose.
yeah, they were like, I'm not going to risk it because what's the point? So they just
Yeah.
both took a point, and I mean, if Arsenal go to the Etihad and get a point, they get 11 points out of 15, and as I said, they've
Yeah.
already gone to Villa Park. Now they've gone to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and if they remain unbeaten, I mean, that's an incredible start to the season.
Arsenal will be they will be leading the title race for the first 3/4 of the season, maybe even 5/6 of the season, and then guess what will happen?
Aston Villa probably. Probably
Man
Villa.
City will come along and take it back, as they always fucking do. It's
Yeah.
boring, it's shit, it's the worst thing in the world. But it's going to happen every single year until Pep leaves. So we've just got to hope that after the season, Man City go back to the National League and Pep goes back to Spain, and we can all live and play proper football again.
I don't know. The thing is with of course, this season with Manchester City, they still look an incredible team. Erling Haaland has 9 of their 11 goals.
I was
mean,
gonna
he's
say.
He's outscored every Premier League team.
Yeah.
The fact he's had
competing-
9 goals
He's
already. is
competing with
ridiculous.
teams.
Yeah, but the thing for me is, if he gets injured or if he's not there, what's going to happen to that team?
Well, yeah, I feel like they can just. The thing is, though, with Guardiola's team.
They played without a striker for years. as
Well, yeah,
well.
they played with a
They
false
got rid of
9 a few
Alvarez as well.
seasons ago.
They did get rid of
Alvarez was
Alvarez.
key last
Why
year
they got rid of
in
Alvarez,
picking up-
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
Alvarez was
stupid,
key
but-
picking up that
See, yeah.
Slack.
other position that I think is going to be.
I
an issue.
still think they personally they still probably should have replaced him, but I'm not going to say getting that amount of money for Julian Alvarez is not a good bit of business because
Mm.
that's an incredible
still
amount
not
of money.
convinced.
I just think the
Incredible
Champions
amount
League's
of money.
gonna tire out players.
If
And I think Haaland might get a bit
We will
burnt
see.
out.
We will see how it goes. I mean, if he gets injured, it will be so interesting to see
Yeah.
what happens.
And our FPLs might be a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit more
Um,
interesting.
well,
but,
I did United. I'm doing a
Let's go
challenge
to
where
United. You know what? Let's go.
Should we
to
talk about United before we talk about
Yes.
fantasy?
You
Because I
lot
do want
got-
to talk about
yeah,
fantasy.
yeah, we'll talk about fantasy
Just putting
towards the
out
end.
there, in that first 35 minutes, you lot got battered by Southampton.
See, the thing is, I didn't watch it.
Oh, mate, I'm telling you now.
But
you
I'm
lot
very
got
happy.
absolutely in the first 35 minutes. Man United looked like a League Two team. When I tell you, every single time Southampton lost the ball,
Yeah.
Man United lost the ball, it would go straight back to Southampton.
Yep.
They'd win it on the edge of their box, play it to the halfway line, Southampton come back, and it was capped off with a penalty, and they don't
And
capitalise.
Andre Onana stepped
Andre
up.
Onana stepped up and did his
Stepped up
job.
because he's a solid goalkeeper. He is a
He
good
is.
goalkeeper. He has mistakes in him at times. You know, there's sometimes I look at some of the errors that he's made and I think, how is that even possible? Like,
I agree.
I
but-
think
But it was a good penalty save as well.
yeah, he's
But-
a good keeper.
I think this is the reason I'm gonna tip. Well, I think we'll all agree with this, but Southampton will be going down,
Yeah,
and it's because if you're on top against a team like Man United, honestly, nothing against United, they could have been 4-0 up by the point of even just the penalty. If you don't take your chances, you're gonna
get punished.
We-
You're gonna get
we-
punished.
3-0 on that first half display. 3-0 was a bit of a harsh score because it probably could have been different.
Yeah,
But if you don't take the chances, look at
exactly.
United scored, I think, from a corner, and the goal from Rashford was incredible. But
Let me
it was ridiculous.
put it this way: if you look at the shots, they had 6 in total, and 4 of them were on target. We had 20, and 10 of them were on target.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, after the first 35
We deserved
minutes,
to
they
win
sort
that
of- they
game.
sort of came
It
alive.
probably deserved to be more closer to 3-1 than it did to be 3-0.
3-2, mate. They should have been 2-0 up in the first half. They
Not
had two
according to
great
expected
chances.
goals that I
I
can
know,
see.
but
here.
expected goals don't. I mean,
It doesn't always paint the picture.
yeah,
does
exactly.
It
'cause
doesn't,
Don't
but-
forget they missed a penalty and still could have scored at least one other in just
Well,
normal play.
you
They hit
know,
the crossbar.
Again, I didn't catch the first half an hour, so it's difficult for me to tell
At the
you.
end of the day, I mean, if you look at Southampton, to be totally honest, I'm going to say this now, Liverpool will probably end up dropping points there when they play them, but
So
it probably is the most...
Yeah.
Southampton theme.
It probably is the most easiest, I want to say, away game to go to if you're
Let
going to
me-
pick up 3
let me
points.
put
to
it
be
this
totally
way,
honest, because
I'd
they
say
last time they were in.
Ipswich, but
I think Ipswich can create a bit more of an atmosphere and make it a little bit more challenging. I think we saw that in the first half against Liverpool, how they
yeah.
created quite a good atmosphere and put Liverpool under pressure. But I just think with Southampton, I want them to stay up. I want them to do well, but
Yeah.
They
yeah,
won't.
I can't
point
see
out
that
one
happening.
thing as well. I do
Shoot.
think the red card helped with the amount of chances Man United then got.
Probably,
From that point
yeah,
onwards.
yeah. I mean, it's
What
a
time was the
ridiculous
red
challenge.
card?
Red
Because it
card-
was quite
The
late,
red
wasn't
card was
it?
79. However, up until that point, Man United still hadn't looked convincing.
We were still 2-0 up.
To yeah, I know, but they still weren't convincing in terms of there was still a lot of turnover in the midfield. In terms of whenever Martinez, Maino picked up the ball, would just go straight back.
Yeah, I think you're
to
gonna
Southampton.
have that with
De
Man
Ligt had a
United.
brilliant game.
Delict
De Ligt
good,
Bounce
good.
back.
De Ligt and Mazraoui were brilliant.
Matthias de Ligt needed to
That's what I was going to say.
bounce back from
Well,
the international break,
let
especially.
me-
the highest rating.
Let me talk a little bit about United then, because I feel like I need to. We've heard it from the rivals. Let me speak from a fan's perspective,
Yeah.
because as you can see, I'm quite decked up today. I've got the scarf on. I've got the shirt.
Yeah, you've not
the
got your
nice-
hand,
nice
your
shirt
head in your
on.
hands
Yeah.
from
I
last
haven't got my
time.
head in my hands this week
Mate,
because
5
I am very
minutes.
happy. Let me put it this way: Southampton are the worst team in the Premier League, and they are going to compete with Derby for the worst season ever. I am very convinced of that. They are awful, and beating them 3-0 is no big achievement,
It's a win though.
but it's a win.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then obviously I've just come back from being in Manchester, where we won 7-0 against Barnsley.
Yeah.
Again, a League One team. It's
Mhm.
not. She's going to pass comment, isn't she? God's sake.
It's
It's coming. It is Barnsley, but it's 7-0.
Yeah.
We've put 10 goals in 2 games, and the confidence that's going to bring to a lot of these players is massive, especially Rashford, who's definitely a confidence player.
Oh,
He
Oh,
did that
100%.
He is a
He-
confidence
yeah,
player.
yeah.
I
He
mean, it'll
took
be
his
interesting
goal
to see
well,
what
though.
happens.
He took his goal well, and
He
then
took
did you
his
see the
goal
one in the cup as well? The first goal in the cup.
I saw it just, but no, he.
It was a
needed
very
that.
good take. Obviously, it's not against very good defenders, but it's a very good take, and it's going to
You've
help
got
his
no-
confidence.
You've got Palace away next.
That's not
so
an easy
That's
game.
going to be difficult.
Yeah.
I think.
Palace away, but again,
They've
they are
still
on the
not
best
won a game
form.
this season. So,
Exactly.
Well,
I'm not.
which makes me sort of think they could be really up for that one.
Agreed. I think
Yeah.
we've seen a lot of. I think Ahmad Diallo looks
He
incredible.
needs to be starting. I don't understand
Yeah,
why
no,
He
he's
does start.
Yeah,
He-
I know.
In all
but
fairness, he does
there
start.
was one game where I think it was the Manchester United. Was it did he start the Liverpool game or was he on the bench?
Hang on, bear with me.
I can't
I
remember.
want to say he started. I think he started.
Yeah, I thought he started every game. No, he didn't start. It started on Garnacho.
which was
Oh,
interesting to me because I mean, if Rashford can get back to the form that he's previously had, then you know what, definitely then he probably should start. But as of right now, for me, if I was going to pick it based off of how they've played in the Premier League, it would be Garnacho and Ahmad.
Right,
I completely agree.
let me put it this way: the best performing player since on the football rating is Ahmad Diallo. Our top goal scorer of the season is Alejandro Garnacho.
right.
Those two need to be starting.
Yeah, exactly that.
And
Totally
then
agree.
I think I look at that Liverpool game and I think, what was the biggest problem in that Liverpool game? What was the big weakness? Because other than that, like
Midfield.
Brighton's pretty shit. But let me fucking build up to it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Nah, it's a joke.
Fuck you too. I look at that game and I think, okay, what are the issues? Right. First of all, Mazraoui's been great. Dallow's been great. Need left footer in there. Need short back. And then one of them plays. I don't mind which one. I think that partnership, De Ligt has played great in the games he's played, and Martinez has played great in the games he's played. They need to be playing together and starting together.
I think the more they play, the better they'll be.
Agreed.
That's the issue.
And then I look at Mainu, isolated on his own, poor rating. Casemiro, taken off at half time.
Yeah, he was.
I watched Manuel Ugarte home debut against Barnsley. The man looks like Roy Keane reborn.
Oh no,
I-
Henry.
Yes.
Barnsley.
We'll wait and see
He is
against
going
Crystal
to
Palace.
kick the shit out of every attacker in the league, and I am going to love every single
We're
one.
gonna-
He is so good.
We're gonna see against
Come back,
Crystal
come
Palace.
back to next week's sent off. Yeah, no, he won't. I agree,
And
Lily.
he's-
I
and he's
agree,
set
Lily.
up.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
The man is immense.
Absolutely.
Playing him alongside Mainu, Mainu can do his thing and progress the ball forward. And then when you guys have a chance and Salah's moving through the middle, he's gonna get sliced by my
Well,
Uruguayan
hopefully that will
beast.
that will end up in a red card then.
Probably will. To be
And I will clap. I will clap for that red card.
Gosh.
I think having Rashford coming back into form, Garnacho being in form, Ahmad playing the best he's ever played. You got Bruno in there as well.
Yeah.
Mount being played further forward when he does play, so you have that rotation. Ericsson scoring twice in the cup potentially can replace Fernandez, and then Xerxes with Højlund to come back from injury as well. The attack is firing and will continue to fire, and there's still depth to be added. The midfield, the big issue, we've got our best signing to come in still, and our defence has been good, but can only get better.
What do you think about Mazraoui? His start.
Amazing. He's been fucking unreal. £15 million for that.
Yeah.
That is one of the. If you hadn't got Chiesa for 15 million, and if Mbappe hadn't gotten a free, that would be one of the signings of the summer. For 15 million,
He seems
ridiculous.
like a good
I
sign.
don't think he should have left Ajax. Honestly, I think he's done well now, but I think him going to Bayern wasn't great.
Yeah.
Should we head on to you guys then?
Yeah, let's
Yes.
head on to Liverpool losing at home to Nottingham Forest. I mean, so surprising. What was it? I was just coming back from the shops and then I got a goal notification. Callum Hudson-Odoi scored in the 75th minute, and I thought, oh, we're probably not gonna get back in this one, to be honest. The way that we were creating opportunities, but in all honesty, I think it's a blip. I think it's going to happen. We're going to have games like that under Arne Slot in the first season. I still think we're going to finish third. I mean, as I said, this is recorded on the Wednesday, so last night Liverpool played against AC Milan away from home, 1-3-1. Really comfortable performance, played brilliantly. So that's enhanced my thought of that. This is going to
From
be
1-0 down as well.
it's going to be a blip. You're going to have those moments, but yeah. I mean, first half we were okay. I watched the extended highlights on it. We weren't moving the ball as well as I would have liked, but we created a few chances. Luis Diaz hit the post. Diogo Jota had a one-on-one that was well saved. Moving into the second half, Nottingham Forest were the better team. They had the better chances and they got the goal. I think we were worthy of getting a point based on the chances that we had. But
Their goalkeeper was man of the match. I think.
yeah, the goalkeeper played very, very well
It was
for
a
them.
well-taken
I mean,
goal as
it
well.
was a Nuno Espirito Santo masterclass, to put it simply.
Yeah.
He got his tactics spot on. He decided to drop Hudson-Odoi, and I think Elanga was already on the bench in the previous game. He might not have been,
Elanga's
but-
been brilliant, by
but
the way. Can I just point out.
he dropped
Yeah,
both.
us selling him was a mistake, I think.
Elanga
But I've
Yeah.
said that since he left. There was no need to sell him.
No.
been great. I hope he does well at the Swedish
He-
national team.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I mean, he dropped both of them onto the bench and had Dominguez, I think it was, playing on the right. I'm trying to remember. There was another player.
Dominguez on the right, Anderson on the left.
Anderson on the left,
Yep.
who of course can play on the left, but he's more of a central player. So they didn't really have too many super fast, pacey players. But they
No.
brought them on in the 60th minute.
Yates and
And it
Ward-Prowse
was
in the
brilliant.
midfield.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, they had a tactic. They wanted to sit behind the ball, in the penalty area and get pressure, and that's exactly what they did.
I'm
I
not going to
mean-
lie to you. I was pissed because I had Salah as my captain.
So did I.
had
Don't worry, we
Jota
can get
in my
onto that.
team.
Yeah.
I had Trent in my team, and it would have ruined my fancy for the week. But we'll get onto that.
Yeah.
but,
Why couldn't it have been the other way around? Because obviously you guys lost 1-0 to Forest, which is very funny. I enjoy watching you do that.
Yeah, I can imagine you did.
But
yeah.
why couldn't
I
it have been Man City that lost 1-0 to Brentford after
were
1
losing.
minute?
Because they-
I was so happy.
Because it's just it's Manchester City.
City.
I mean, they are
It's
rarely
Haaland FC.
rarely going to drop points at home. I mean, in all
God's
honesty,
sake.
for us in the game, I still thought Ryan Gravenberch again was our best player
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It seems to be a common theme at the moment. He pops up and he's putting in these really, really good performances. In all honesty, Salah got locked up by Alex Moreno. Alex
Yeah.
Moreno was exceptional at left back. Salah had very, very little influence. Whenever he did try and make an influence, the left back was on him at all times. it's Salah's first bad performance of the season.
Yeah.
Apart from that, all the other games so far and the Champions League last night where he hit the woodwork twice, he was really, really good.
I think
Yeah.
you were also unlucky that they just had a very well taken goal.
Yeah, it was a
You know what I
brilliant
mean?
finish.
Their goal was-
Unreal
their
goal
goal
from
was
the edge of the
brilliant.
box. You know,
And
he
I
curls
think-
it into the bottom corner.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
it was a really, really good game. But yeah, Sells in goal, 5 saves. He was very, very solid.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm not worried because I think it will be next weekend. Hopefully, we should put up a good performance against Bournemouth. Although they're a good team as well. They were quite unlucky to lose to Chelsea.
They beat you. Was it last season they beat you or the season before? There was one
Season
where-
before they beat
yeah.
us 1-0 because that was the game after we beat United 7-0. And obviously
Yeah.
we're all on the top of the world. And then
Suddenly
we started by
lose to-
Chetic and Harvey Elliott in midfield against Jefferson Lerma and Philip Billing. You know how that's going to go. Like physicality-wise, that's just two
Yeah.
polar opposites.
I
But,
can't believe Bajetic's gone out on loan this season.
yeah, well, I don't think he's good enough, quite
No,
frankly.
I agree.
I don't share an opinion that loads of the Liverpool fan base share. I'm quite on the opposite scale of it. When he came into the team, I felt like he was just bigged up because he's a young player and looks good on the ball.
Mm.
I think he's got decent passing ability and he can put a challenge in, but he's nowhere near it.
If I'm
Quite frankly, he's
thinking
nowhere near it at the
Curtis
moment.
Jones, kind of similar
Curtis
thing.
Jones needs to
He's-
go.
That's what I mean. He was good when he came
I
in,
am
but not
I am
anymore.
very happy that we figured that one out. That one's
Well, you know, there was a certain. I mean, it's the thing is with him is that he can have a game where he's really good and really impressive. But as I said last season, I don't mind him being in the squad. What I don't want him to be starting games against Manchester City,
Yeah.
games against Arsenal,
It's cup
because
games.
he's not good enough. You can play him against potentially lower league opposition and getting the Carabao Cup. I've got no problem with that because he can be a decent player. Like, I don't dislike him or anything. I don't want to speak ill of any player, but he's just not. He's not. He's not going to be starting week in, week out. I mean, the gap between the performances that Gravenberch put in this season to what Gravenberch put last season is amazing. You know, it's such a big gap. Whilst with Curtis Jones, he's had multiple seasons now. He's had multiple seasons. Yeah, where, you know, you think, is this the year he's really going to kick on? It doesn't seem that way. But for us overall, I mean, I would probably start the exact same team against Bournemouth at home. The only change that I would possibly make is put Nunez up top because Jota now, last night even, still wasn't very good. Last 3 games he's not been great. Just give Nunez a chance from the start, see how he goes. If he doesn't do good, sub him off on the 60th minute and bring Jota on. I mean,
that is one thing I would say about Schlott is that you have to trust your starting 11. I get that, but I know there is strength in depth because obviously there are players in there that aren't in the starting 11 that I do rate, but it doesn't feel like there is. It feels like there's not like he doesn't want to swap out a player because he only trusts his 11.
He very rarely did that at Feyenoord last season. He would have a starting 11 and he would stick to it a massive amount.
Every single game.
You'd know
They
more
had
about
the
that.
Same front of 3. Jimenez played. They played the same midfielders, and there was very little rotation, which led to a few injuries. Which wasn't great. But I mean, if it works, then you know. It very
just
much
depends if it works or not.
One of the games I want to pick up on actually is Everton.
Yep.
Back to back, 2-0 up.
That was the exact one that I was literally about to go
Yep.
on to.
You can't ignore it. I think it's probably arguably one of the biggest games of the week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did it last week.
Let's have a
in
look at this.
Not
'cause
even
this
10
is-
minutes against Bournemouth. Came out 3-2. This time wasn't even just 2-0 up, but had constant chances.
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin had about 5 chances to, finish off the game basically, and the John Duran goal was incredible.
Incredible goal. I mean, you know, I saw something that Aston Villa had to reject like 40 bids for John Duran this summer because there was so much interest in him as a striker because of his just
His finishing is
all-around qualities
Did you
that
see
he
his goal he
has.
scored yesterday? I know it was disallowed.
Yeah,
but did you see that
another
first time
really
curl
good
finish?
finish.
Oh,
into
it's like
the
a
bottom
pass to the bottom corner.
The first time curl into the bottom corner. And I think it was disallowed, but
He's just,
that
you know,
finish was
Yeah,
And I feel-
he's got something about him.
I feel like for him, he's going to struggle to get, no matter how good he plays, he's going to struggle to start because of Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
Because of the, I know he.
Well,
Ollie Watkins,
did he pick up a knock last night, or is he? Or is he? Okay?
He picked up.
He's fine.
I think he's fine, but yeah, Ollie Watkins back on track, got two
2
goals. Yeah,
The week after,
massive
take him
for
out.
him.
Take him out of
Massive
my
for him.
fancy team. He scores 2 goals. So I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Everton a little bit because again, it is another loss, and it is another game where they've lost from behind. I look at it and I go, Michael Keane is clearly not good enough. Mykolenko clearly isn't good enough. Ashley Young is too old. Idrissa Gana Gay is clearly not good enough. This Tim bloke, clearly not ready. He was in Villa's academy, clearly not ready for first team football. But I also look at them and I go, okay, they've got Branthwaite to come back from injury.
Yeah.
They've got O'Brien who could start.
Yeah.
They've got Patterson to come back in for Young.
Lindstrom.
Lindstrom's come back in. But I'm thinking specifically in those positions, right? You've got Doucouré who could play, and you've got Garner who was one of their best players last season to start still. So I look at that and I go,
They are due a result.
They scored in the 16th and 27th minute, and the 26th minute is when Mykolenko came off and Garner came on.
Well, I think if we look at their fixture list over the next 4 or 5 games, they've got Leicester City away, which will be an interesting game
They could win
for
that,
both
though.
teams. Yeah, they could potentially. And I mean, Leicester City could also potentially go ahead and win that game. That's a massive, like, sort of. I know it's very early, but it's almost like a 6-pointer in a way. They got Crystal Palace at home, which
That's a loss, I
which
think.
you know that's a tough game. Newcastle United at home, also of course a tough game. Ipswich away afterwards, which is like
They could
another
lose that one
6-pointer
again.
you would
I
consider.
think realistically,
And then Everton at home. No, not Everton at home. Fulham at home, and then Southampton away. So they do have some not bad fixtures in the run-in. And I just think for Everton, you know, they've scored 4 goals in the last 2 games, but they've just conceded 6.
yeah,
So,
I think realistically, the newly promoted sides are the teams that they're fighting with at the moment.
well, yeah, they're going to have to.
because even look at the stats from that game, right? The Aston Villa game. Villa had 17 shots, 8 on target.
Yeah.
Everton, who you would say, if you look at the highlights, dominated the highlights at least, had 6 shots and 2 on target.
Yeah.
They went 2-0 up, but Aston Villa ended the game with 73% possession.
Mm.
The stats show that this game could have easily been 3-0. You know, and you look at that going, well, fair enough. It looks, you know, looks about right. So
No, they've been really, really impressive.
yeah, I was just
at times.
disappointed with Calvert-Lewin. I think he had 3 chances, 2 to finish the game. I think it was at 2-1.
Yes, yeah, I think.
Had one where he tried to go around the keeper and just I honestly can't even explain.
Yeah,
what it
I mean,
ran into him.
Weirdly enough, I feel like he's got 2 in the last 2 now. It could be a little bit of he goes on a bit of run of form. I feel like he goes for a couple more games and he gets a few more goals because the way that Everton are, you know, scoring goals at the minute, which is
Well, you got Dwight
pretty
McNeil.
unusual.
Dwight McNeil is the best crosser, one of the best crossers in the
Well,
league.
I mean, he's been
And
really
and Calvert-Lewin
good.
is a very
He's
tall,
playing as a
physical
cam.
He's
striker.
been really good the past 2
Weirdly,
games.
Because Ndai's got the pace, I get that,
No,
but you want to have that threat from
You're
wide
better off
areas in
playing Ndiaye
McNeil.
through the middle and Dwight Gale.
Play a
'cause
4. What happened to the Dicey 4-4-2?
Yeah, but
McNeil
it's
off the
gone.
left, Harrison
It's
off the
what-
right,
he's had to
Cross
adapt.
whipping balls in,
He's had to adapt.
It's what they need. 'cause
and Ndai playing off of Calvert-Lewin, little man, big man.
Yeah,
the issue I've got is that Calvert-Lewin is such a confidence player that he scored 2 in 2, but the issue is the rest of the team isn't around him.
yeah.
He's so separated from the team. Yes,
They-
he's good, but
They've had one positive result this season, and that is a 3-0 win at Doncaster. They then went and got knocked out by Southampton, and the rest of the games they've lost.
realistically, if
It's not
he's
been a good start.
if
no.
he's out that team, where's
been
goal
all-
coming from? I can't see where they're coming
Well,
from.
this is the issue, isn't it? I think for
Beto?
Everton, they
No.
no, Beto won't. No.
Better no.
I struggle.
Brozier was a
uh,
loan deal, last minute loan
Yeah,
deal.
no, I
Brozier
struggle
as
to see. I struggle to see it. I mean, I want to move on to Chelsea because I feel like
Oh.
Chelsea playing
Do we have
against
to talk
Bournemouth.
about Chelsea?
Yeah,
Can we just
it's
not?
So annoyed at that game.
Yeah, we got to talk. We got to talk about Chelsea.
Can we not talk? Can we just ignore Chelsea? They don't really.
Yeah, mate, most
Yeah,
yellow,
well,
most
to
yellow
be
cards in
totally-
the
well,
game.
I'm gonna speak on it because, quite frankly, you know, they probably got away with one, getting 3 points away at the Vitality because Bournemouth played really, really well.
Robert Sanchez.
He had an incredible game. That's probably his
Yeah.
best. It's probably his best game for Chelsea so far in the Chelsea shirt.
Yeah.
You know, saving that penalty.
He-
Seven
He-
saves.
right, I'm
7.
sorry. He got 12 points. He got 15 fantasy points.
Yeah, because
I
I didn't even realise.
Save the penalty, got 3
Um,
bonus points. You know, and I just think, for
fuck
for
me.
Bournemouth, I mean,
Sorry,
so
language,
many,
but fuck
so
me.
many chances in terms
What?
of
4 diving saves, 5 saves inside the box,
Yeah.
1 sweep, 1 punch, 6 throws, 1 high claim, 12 recoveries, and 6 accurate long balls.
and this is
Yeah. And literally the most yellow cards you're ever going to see in a game.
yeah. I
'Cause
mean,
Lord
How many did
Almighty,
they get?
There was 14. cards
14.
given
Yes,
out.
there was. Yeah, and it was Anthony Taylor, of course. I think it was.
14
Yeah.
yellow
Well, that's
cards.
Anthony Taylor.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
well, that's Chelsea enemy number one, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
the thing that I like about Andoni Iraola as a manager is that he's very adaptable. He realised that Chelsea were going to have the majority of the possession in the game because that's what Enzo Maresca likes to do, and obviously, on paper, they probably do have a little bit better quality.
Well, I
So
guess that's why they started
you know,
Semenyo.
the fact that Bournemouth only had 33% possession, yet managed to get 19 shots in comparison to Chelsea's 10,
That's
just shows you, you know,
Wow, I
his
didn't even notice that.
his adaptability to be able to play possession-based football and then go, wait, actually, if we're coming up against a team who's going to dominate the ball, we need to be able to adapt. And Bournemouth
Yeah.
were, as I said, quite unlucky. I mean, Christopher Nkunku coming off the bench and getting another goal.
It's a lucky goal as well. to be
Neto
fair.
Neto getting pulled at half time is
Yeah.
not.
Jaden
Great for him.
I
Sancho.
think he got a knock. I
Did
think
he?
Sancho
Oh,
got
okay.
the assist for that goal.
Jaden
He
Sancho
did.
got the assist for the goal.
Another good performance from Vega. I wasn't expecting him to get minutes, but he's playing.
Oh, and that's
Vega in the
Yeah.
holding midfield position.
I
just-
wasn't expecting that.
Oh,
But
honestly, I forgot he even played for them.
He's
They've
starting.
got so many players that I completely forgot.
is I think Fernandez injured? Is that the idea?
I believe
Enzo
so.
picked up a knock in
Uh,
international duty. I think.
Yeah, apparently
Right.
he's. I mean, it says on here that he's ill as well, so that's obviously
Yeah.
contributing to that. But
But he's
overall-
played 3 and
overall,
Vega's played 5.
yeah, overall, I don't see Enzo Fernandez in Chelsea's best midfield. I don't see it.
No.
it.
I
He-
think Caicedo's
he,
in,
uh,
but
I
not
don't see it. I
Fernandes.
just
I
we've
see it the other way
we've
around.
seen enough. We've seen enough of Enzo Fernandez for me to go ahead and say
Yeah.
and be like, you've had so many chances since
I
you
mean,
joined.
You've
You've
been
been
there
there for
long enough, yeah.
a long time now. And you're not
As-
showing the money, the performances worthy of the price tag.
As someone who's studied Maresca's tactic quite a lot, and I have, I know that he likes a deep lying playmaker, and nobody has that kind of ball progression skill like Enzo does. So he fits the system so perfectly that when he comes back, he will start. I'm fairly confident of that. Caicedo was the one that didn't fit as well, but now they've got rid of Gallagher.
Caicedo
Caicedo
works.
has to start.
Caicedo works.
To be honest with you, Chelsea have got to build that team around Caicedo. Because Caicedo is that player in that midfield. That
Yeah,
now
no,
is
he did.
not going to
100% he
change.
is.
Now
No,
Gall-
no. Now
Gall-
Gallagher's
now
gone. Yeah,
Gallagher's
he
gone.
has to start.
That
Yeah,
position
100%.
But I
is
think
Caicedo's.
I think he had to start beforehand anyway. Because
No,
he's that
no,
good
no,
of a
no,
player.
I
Gallagher's
disagree.
better than
He's
Gallagher
that good.
anyway.
He's that good
Yeah.
of a player.
He is that good of a player, but I thought Gallagher was better.
I
I
disagree.
still-
I think
it
they're
is what it is. I still think he is better. But I
They're
just-
different. They're not the same type of player for me
Yeah.
personally. I don't think they have the same type of qualities. I think Caicedo's a little bit better deeper,
Yeah.
and then Gallagher's better if you push
Growing
him a
out
little
and
bit
pressing.
further.
Yeah.
Yeah,
up the
I kind of
pitch.
get what you're saying, but I think that the way he likes his system with a deeper blind passer and then a ball winner to step up, a Gallagher would have fitted that system better as well. But it again, it's one of the things where it's like Enzo and Gallagher together with an attacking midfielder fitted Enzo's profile so well,
Yeah.
and then he decided to sell Gallagher, and like Enzo's not played all the games. He's starting Vega, and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
I
What?
think Enzo for the price tag has not given the return.
No, he's not delivered.
No,
At
Simple as
all.
that. He's not delivered.
And I think time will run out for him because Chelsea are not afraid to just go and spend.
No, they're not. They're not afraid to sell
you
players.
know,
are they? Clearly.
For example, same with wingers. You know, let's be honest. They're bringing in Estevão. At some point, he's going to come into the team. Someone's going to get dropped.
Madueke,
Madueke is
which is
probably
stupid because he's
Yep.
because he is the best, but it will be Madueke because they
will-
can't drop
Yeah,
Yeah,
Palmer.
it's been interesting
will be
because of
him.
course he scored that hat trick, which
not.
was
There's nothing.
an amazing performance. But since then, he's sort of been a little bit mediocre. He's sort of dropped down to the levels that we've seen previously.
He
But
did, yeah, nothing.
but-
But same with Nkunku. Nkunku did nothing. Comes off the bench here,
Yeah,
scores,
he's-
and then
well, it's so,
so
yeah
strange.
because when he starts, it
it's like
doesn't.
he's only good off the bench.
It
When
doesn't
he
seem
starts,
to
he doesn't
work.
do anything.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just do a quick roundup elsewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
Brighton drew 0-0 to Ipswich. I
Good
mean,
point for Ipswich.
that's a massive
Great.
point for Ipswich. I mean, that's for Brighton.
Great point.
That's like it's disappointing, but
I
it
think
is what
two
it is.
back-to-back draws is a bit frustrating for
Crystal
them.
Palace drawing against Leicester. I mean, Leicester 2-0 up, and then Jean-Philippe Mateta got a last-minute penalty, which he took off Eze. So if anyone has Eze in their FPL team, I wouldn't be too happy. But it shows that Leicester can go to an away ground and score a couple goals and put in a performance. I mean, Wilfred Ndidi got 2 assists, which feels very strange saying, considering he used to be like a number 6.
Why?
Yeah, he was
What's
playing in the
happening
10.
with that? That's annoying me.
He's trying. I just think he's trying different things. Steve Cooper.
But Ndidi is not a 10. There's no
But,
way that he should be playing in the 10.
Well, I mean, he created 4 big chances, 3 big chances created. He had a
He's
solid
one of the
game
league's
overall
best ball
performance.
winners, and they're playing him in the 10.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just-
I mean, looking at it on paper, it doesn't make necessarily much sense. But I think if you
Right, you can use a flathead screwdriver to undo crosshead screws.
right,
Doesn't mean you should.
no, but it
Just
works.
'cause Ndidi
though.
can create
Did it
4
not-
chances
Did it
mean-
not work? They scored 2 goals.
Yeah, but they also drew 2-2.
Yeah, but
Where
that's
was the
not down.
defensive-
That's not down to
But
him.
it
What
should
is
be.
going
It should
Yeah,
be the defensive
But they've
resilience
got
that you need
they've got
from
like
him.
they've got Oliver Skip and Harry Winks in
I
there.
love it.
And
That
that's
right.
well,
That
I know.
just confused me.
I mean, it's not massively Premier League quality, I would say, but they're holding midfielders. Well, Oliver Skip is a holding midfielder. He
Mate.
is.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
Where,
no,
where, where,
no, they
where would you
are.
play him?
But they are average.
Yeah, they are
holding
average.
midfielders.
Well, that's not
Why
down to
not
Wilfred
play
Ndidi.
one of the best holding midfielders in holding midfield and then play?
But is he one
a
of the
creative
best?
midfielder?
He's not really
I
done
don't
that
think, I
well.
don't think he's one of the best, but
He's
I
not
think
done that well.
he's-
Ever since Leicester sort of dropped off into the Championship, and then he came back. He's not
I
been at
mean,
the level. He's not been at the
Winks
same
is a
level
good-
for a holding midfielder, is he?
Winks is a good ball recycler. Like he knows how to just you have an attack, it gets cleared. He's good at like getting it just back into the feet of a creative player. But you can't have Ndidi one of those two, and you can't have both of them. You have to have one of them and then a creative. Someone more creative than Ndidi.
I think Mavidi did very well in that game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I
he's a good player. We know
He's
that. We know
ex-
that.
I want to say he's ex-Arsenal. Then
He
went
could
off
be.
to.
Hang on, let me have a
I've
look.
got no idea.
He's 100% he's ex-Arsenal. I know that for a fact. 'Cause I remember him in the academy.
Yes,
and he went off
youth
to
through Arsenal,
France.
Charlton,
That's it.
Preston, Juve. He was at Juve for a bit.
Went to France as well, Montpellier.
Dijon.
Yep. So he's one of those players that realistically they need to build around
Yeah.
because
Mm.
he's clearly quality,
Mm.
and I think he's a striker. Of course, you're not going to drop Vardy, but
No.
I think he's the kind of player that will feed off chances if someone misses or something. He'll feed off those kind of chances, and I
Mhm.
think he'll do very well for them.
Agreed.
I think he's one of those players that will, if Leicester want to stay up, that's one of the players they're going to have to look to.
Mm.
Yeah. No,
So
definitely. I
the-
think elsewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to get
Yeah.
too in depth with the rest of them, but Fulham, West Ham, last minute
Oh,
equaliser from Danny Ings of all people back in the fold
they
under
started awfully.
Lopetegui. But that's massive. I mean, we know Erling Haaland scored 2 as Manchester City won against Brentford. And then last game of the weekend was Wolves versus Newcastle, and Newcastle scored 2 screamers.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my
Yeah.
lord.
Fabian Schär's did take a deflection, but still incredible effort.
Yeah.
And then Harvey Barnes, curling it into the top corner and getting Newcastle massive 3 points. 10 points out of 12 for their
Yeah,
opening
no,
4.
they've done
And
well.
really, looking at the way that they have played in the opening 4, they've not been at their best, but yet they've managed to pick up the points and get the results, I
Are
feel
they
like.
still unbeaten? They're one of
They're
the
still
few
unbeaten.
teams
Yeah,
unbeaten.
they're
aren't
still
they?
unbeaten. Yeah, so there's Arsenal, Manchester City, and Arsenal, Manchester City, Newcastle, and I think Nottingham Forest and Brighton are also still unbeaten. So there's 5 at the
Yeah.
moment. But I mean, as for Newcastle, really, really solid, and that is all of the games. So shall we go and see how we got on in FPL? I mean.
Yeah, let's.
We did
Yeah.
touch on it briefly, so if you cannot tell, none of us did very well this week.
Yeah.
How many points did you get?
I got the lowest. I got 34 points this week,
And we both got
We both got
35.
and you
35.
both in the 30s. So,
So I want to read.
you know,
I want
um,
to read through this team. Man. This is
let's
awful.
get into this because
Let's go around and talk about how we did this week, and then we'll talk about what we're doing
Yes.
next week afterwards.
I've got a
um,
completely different team.
Same.
Jordan Pickford still in goal for me because I refuse to use a transfer on a goalkeeper because I think
How many goals is it he's shipped now? Because it was 3, then 4, then 3, then 3.
then 3. So as of right now, it is 13 in 4, which obviously
Oh my.
is not very good.
Who's on your bench?
Fuck me.
I have a £4 million keeper who went out on loan, so he's not coming in to save me. But elsewhere, one of the two players who actually got me more than 4 points was Lisandro Martinez picking up a clean sheet away from home. Esri Konsa, who I've transferred in last week up against Leicester. Since I've transferred him in, he's got me 2 points in 2 games, so he's had a very solid start. Alexander-Arnold with the 1-pointer because he picked up a yellow card, and same with Dan Burn because he also picked up a yellow card in the away game against Wolves. Moving into the midfield, Karu Matoma got me 3 points at home against Ipswich Town. I transferred him out for Gibbs White. It would not have mattered anyway. They would have got the same points.
Yeah.
But considering he was playing Ipswich Town at home, I expected something, so I'm pretty disappointed at that. Mohamed Salah, captained him. He had a better record on paper than Erling Haaland against Forest in comparison to Brentford, because I think the past 2 games before this, Salah had scored in both. Haaland had only scored in one. So I went for Salah. Of course, he didn't do anything. Should have gone for Haaland because he went ahead and scored 2. Jota came off in the 59th minute and got 1 point, so he missed out on an extra point for the 60th, which is a very annoying rule in FPL because it happens so often. Erling Haaland, we know 13 points. We know what he's going to do. He's going to score goals.
Exactly.
Muniz is my next transfer out. He was a player who started and then never started the first 3 games, got dropped. Raul Jimenez scored last week. And he's not getting back into the team anytime soon. And Alexander Isak also picked up 1 point because he came off injured at half time against Wolves. So he might actually, coming to think of it, he might be my transfer out, and I might have to start Harry Winks or Faz next week instead.
Oh, that's dangerous. That is.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, my transfer plan, if it was Isak, it would be to get Watkins in because I've got a bit of spare money. If not, Muniz for Calvert-Lewin because he scored in the last 2.
Yep.
So
cool.
Who is next? Did you say you both got 35?
We did.
Yeah, so shall I go? So
go on,
I'm going to pick up on this. So I will start with my bench. My bench has Pickford with 2 points.
Yeah.
Then Chalobah picked up an injury, didn't play. Odegaard injured, didn't play. João Pedro had a knock, didn't play.
So your full bench was like all injuries. Yeah.
So Areola with 3.
Well, it's better than Pickford, so
it's
that's
not bad.
something.
Also in my team I had Ait Nouri, who then picked up an injury in training and got out of the game. Calvin Bassey picked up 2 points. Vardiol picked up 1.
So you actually had 10 players.
Yes, yep, literally. And then Saliba picked up 5 with a clean sheet away from home.
That's not bad.
Joelinton didn't play.
Oh, so you had 9. Oh my gosh.
Palmer had 3. Saka had got 7 points and came off injured.
Yeah.
Captain Salah got me 4 points. Cunha got me 2, didn't do anything. And the most points I got was from Jamie Vardy, who was a throwaway in my team. And literally Jamie Vardy got my throwaway, got me 8 points.
Got you 8
which
points.
is the only reason. So I've now used the wild card and got a whole new team.
So have I. So I said I'd waited, and now I was like, now it needs to happen.
Now it needs to happen.
So
I'm trying to hold out a little bit longer, and then I am gonna.
So Turner was on my bench and didn't play. Obviously, he's not played all season. João Pedro had a knock, didn't play. I started him, but he got transferred. Dharma got transferred in because he obviously didn't play off my bench. Udogie and Pedro Porro I both put on the bench 1 and 2 points between them. Yeah. I knew they weren't going to get.
They're not
going to
get many clean sheets, Tottenham this year.
They're not going to get. They're not going to get many points against Arsenal.
No, especially not Arsenal.
So Pope remains in my team. He is one of the main stalwarts because he has got me points, at least 3 points every single game.
Yeah, I wish I picked him instead of Pickford.
Yeah, he's. Well, no, I'm not surprised.
What a regret.
he's a solid goalkeeper, and I'm very happy I picked him.
I had Dan Burn though.
Trent was going to get me a lot of points, and so was Robinson. But then they both lost their clean sheets. Dallo didn't know. He got me 11 points, which was spicy. Yeah, I know. I started off with 11 points on him and 5 on Bruno, and I was like,
I saw you had like 16 from 2 players. This is the game week where you climb up the table. Yeah.
But then Liverpool just shut themselves, and my week was ruined. 1 point on Trent, 2 points on Robinson. Palmer got me 3 points, which was okay. Chelsea did all right, but he wasn't really one of the big players in the game. Salah got me 4, but only because I had him as captain. Bruno got me 5. Jota got me 1. Again, came off, got a yellow card. Adama got me 2. I thought he'd do better than that, but again, Fulham didn't do anything either.
Yeah.
Isak got me 1 and he got injured, so he's coming out of my team. And then Welbeck got me 2.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So
Let me do.
run through your
transfers.
potential, your big changes anyway to your
Yeah.
team.
I'm going to
Because
go through
they're
them
big-
all
because-
because there are
Yeah,
quite
so
a few.
All right,
I've
go on
changed
then.
my whole squad.
Well, this
Yeah.
is what I was saying. like,
We'll
you
go back
both-
reverse
yeah,
order.
Yeah,
so we're
okay.
gonna
So
Well, I'm not making
I
that
got
anyway.
rid of who was it in the? I forget who it was now.
You still have Salah?
No, goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper?
Not Flecken.
Pope?
No, other one.
No.
Pickford?
No. For
What
God's
team is
sake.
level?
Hang on, bear with me. Sorry, Matt Turner.
Yeah, he's not playing.
He's gone. I got Raya instead. Another little backup goalkeeper,
Same.
like
You've got Raya and Pope.
Yeah.
Wow.
because I
mean,
had the extra money and I was like, okay,
I know,
cool.
but yeah, what if one of them's on the bench and they get like 9 points and then the other
Yeah,
one's
exactly.
sat with 2? That would infuriate me so bad. That's why my bench is like rubbish.
Oh,
That's
my bench is a joke.
Who else? So, in terms of defenders, I got rid of. Who did I get rid of? Bear with me. I got rid of. Just comparing. Pedro. Udogi went. Udogi went because he wasn't getting many.
Many assists. I'm
No,
gonna
he
assume.
was not getting many
Yeah.
assists. Udogi went and Trent went because I wanted to basically push all my funds
You
into
want-
the midfield.
Yeah,
In their place, I got Olaina because he's getting a lot of points for Forest.
yeah, and Forest
doing
are
well.
good
And
defensively. They
again-
are a good team defensively.
I could put him on. I could play 3 defenders, and these 2 didn't even have to play.
Yeah,
so
exactly that.
the bench
Yeah.
from the bench getting loads of points. That's great. And Mazraoui was only 4.5 million, so I went and got him as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause
we
he's
made a lot of
performing
same
quite well.
changes, to be fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dallo remains, Porro remains, and Robinson remains, and they're probably going to be my starting
Starting
defenders.
to- yeah.
In the midfield, who the fucked off? Who left? So Palmer stayed,
Yeah.
Salah stayed, and that's about it.
You
Bruno
had Palmer beforehand.
Bruno left, Jota left, and Adamo left.
Yeah, Bruno. It was about time,
Yeah.
really.
In their place, Madueke came in,
Right.
only
Okay.
6.6.
Do you reckon he's going to be starting still?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe for at
Uh,
least another week.
maybe. Diaz is come in
Yeah.
for Jota. I think that was a good move.
Yeah.
And Bowen has come in for West Ham because I reckon he's their outlet for goals. So
Yeah,
he'll get
definitely.
some thoughts. And then up front, I did have João Pedro, Welbeck, and Isaac. I now have João Pedro, Duran, and Watkins.
Well, we've made a lot of the same changes.
Have we?
Yeah. So my 2 keepers before Pickford and Areola, they're both completely out now.
That was Raya.
Yeah.
is it?
For Raya and Vildermarsen
Yeah.
from
Nice.
From Brentford. Yeah.
Mhm.
My defenders, I've gone. So I had Gvardiol, Saliba, Bassi, Ait-Nouri. That's now completely out. For Luis, Mazraoui, Gabriel. On the bench, I've got Bogard and Vase. My midfield is completely changed. So I had Joelinton, Palmer, Saka, Salah. I've now got Palmer, Rodrigo, Rice, and Salah. I've then got Harry Winks on the bench,
Right.
just because he'll pick up
Yeah.
some points.
Yeah. He'll get 2 points every
Up
game.
front, I then had Vardy, Cunha, and João Pedro. All 3 of them are out. I've got Haaland, Duran, and João Pedro is still there. If he's still got a knock, I'm probably going to bring in Winks in midfield just to pick up
Yeah.
some more points,
Yeah,
and then just play the 2 up front.
I
But
believe you're
I
the.
think
I'm going to go 2 up front this
having
game.
those
Yeah.
2, I think having Haaland, Salah, Palmer in the same team
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
ridiculous.
I've benched a lot of my signings. So I've benched Bowen and Raya. João Pedro is on the bench, and Robinson
Right.
is on the bench because they're coming up against big teams. Like
That's
Robinson's
an expensive
Robinson
bench.
against
Yeah, I was gonna
Newcastle.
say.
But like I've still got like if Duran's in there, like
No, I
the only
think I
cheap
got
player in
Duran.
there is Aina who's starting because I think I'd rather have him in than Robinson because I don't think that they're going to do anything against Newcastle.
Yeah, Duran wasn't.
Same with West Ham against Chelsea.
Duran wasn't expensive. 6 million for him wasn't too bad.
Exactly, and he's getting goals.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Rico-
even when he's not starting, he's
Yeah.
popping up, isn't he?
I
I think
mean,
usually
Rico
I'd-
Lewis is 4.7. I thought that was a pretty good.
That
shout
was a
at
good
the
steal.
moment.
Yeah, 100%.
And then having
I refuse to use Man City players.
I want to
Well,
say Rice was 6.3, Rodri 6.4. So it's not too bad to have them both in.
But I
midfield.
worry about DMs getting points.
Yeah, that's the thing for me.
I think the thing with Rodri is Rodri can always come up and pick up a goal. Same with Declan Rice. Can always
Yeah,
pick up a goal
I mean-
and assist.
I mean,
you know.
personally, yeah, I would avoid that. I mean, I think now are you the only one who doesn't have Erling Haaland?
probably.
Maybe.
It's so weird because at the start of the season, I was the only one who had Erling Haaland.
No,
So it's completely flipped
Everyone
in
else
4
is-
weeks.
I said to you guys last week,
Well, you
didn't
wanted
I?
to do
I
a
was
challenge,
like,
yeah.
my challenge is to do it without. I think I'm going to upgrade that challenge, by the way, to not use a single City player.
Okay,
I'm not using City players.
we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
Let's run through the table quick before we finish.
Yeah, who's doing well at the moment?
Not me.
Because I've fallen.
Let's
I was
well,
always low.
we're gonna have a look.
I'm
at,
now bottom of my family one, which is
So
I'm 54th out of whoever's
I
in our
am
league.
currently 14th with 275. Let's have a look at some other people who
I'm
are
second bottom.
a part of the podcast.
I'm second
um,
bottom.
Zach is in up to 19th at the moment. Where is everybody else? Kieran is in 31st. Helly, who used to be a part of the podcast, is in 32nd. Who else is down
Oh,
here?
my friend.
Tom, 43rd. Where are you, Henry?
My friend Jesse's in.
I'm in
4th.
41st.
You're in 41st, right? So Henry, so you're in 41st. Tom's in 43rd.
I'm second.
Dan's
bottom.
Jamie
46th.
Fowler in 44th.
Isaac is 50th, and then
I'm 54th.
you're 54th out of, well, technically it'll be 56 next week.
Yeah.
So
I've got a friend who's in 4th.
we
as
got
well, who's
56
still-
people.
Jamie's one off bottom, which I think.
Yeah. No, so
You're
I'm 3 points off bottom.
But
Yeah.
yeah, at the moment it is Thomas Brownson who has kept his place at the top of the table. I mean,
Yeah.
3 points ahead of Milo. So that is the top two at the moment. And as you know, if they end up winning the league, they get to come on for the podcast and they
Yep.
get to come with us for a drink. Which
Isaac
yeah.
used his wild card and got 28 points.
Oh no.
maybe that no.
Oh.
I've got a chance now.
But
He's stuffed it.
Yeah.
Cham.
that's a great place to end this week's,
Yeah.
I think. Fingers crossed for my sake that Liverpool can get back to winning ways in the Premier League. I know that especially Henry will be rooting against that.
Nope.
But
I'm with you on that one, man.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a
yeah.
United fan, but come on.
But thank you ever so much for watching this episode of The Gold Show. If you have enjoyed, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, go check out all of our socials, which is in the description of this video. Thank you for watching. Take care. We'll see you next week for the next one. See you then.